start again. It's a rich thing.
Hello guys, today in this video, we're going to help you to find out the best food scales in market. I made this list based on my personal opinion, and I tried to list them based on their quality, durability, customer review and more. If you want to see their price and find out more information about them, you can check our links in the description below.
It's a rich thing.
Number 10. Escali Primo Digital Kitchen Scale. For 4 years running, the Escali Primo Food Scale has been our top pick for its consistent accuracy, intuitive control panel, and reasonable price tag. At around $25 at the time of publication, you won't find a better ratio of performance to price. A food scale is an invaluable kitchen tool that takes the guesswork out of portion sizes and allows much more accurate recipe measurements. Not to mention it drastically reduces the number of measuring cups and bowls you're likely to dirty during a project. If you're a baker, it will allow you to make a batch of muffins all in one large bowl, and it's by far the most precise way to measure flour for finicky bread making. The best scales can convert seamlessly between different units of measurement and zero out to help account for the weight of your bowl or other ingredients. Plus, they're slim enough to store in a cabinet or drawer. Number 9. Suter Timeless Mechanical Kitchen Scale. There are plenty of plus points to traditional scales. No batteries required, no recharging, and they look lovely on display. Suter's Timeless Mechanical Kitchen Scale ticks every one of these boxes. Plus our sample was finished in a subtle sage green that oozes country charm. We like that the carbon steel scales come with their own stainless steel bowl, and that they feel like a good quality pair, yet aren't too heavy. And while their maximum weight was 5 kilograms, once the needle whizzed round past it, we could go a bit further without an error message. However, what the scales lack is fine accuracy. The increments are only 25 g/1 ounce, meaning that it's hard to measure out 10 g. For example, there is also some assembly required initially with a tiny screwdriver for the bowl support, which we weren't expecting, and the scales have a few seams, which could become dirt traps. Number 8. Burke KS25 Kitchen Scale. While the packaging of the Burke KS25 Kitchen Scale is no friend to the environment, it was the only one in our tests to arrive protected by foam blocks. What the scales themselves offer is much better. Most notably, this is an extra-large, backlit display with 2.2 cm digits, perfect for those who may struggle to make out the numbers or symbols on digital scales when cooking. That at-a-glance convenience, plus large buttons and its own bowl, which is a rarity for sets of digital scales, meant we felt this was one of the easiest to use in our roundup. It was simple to change from imperial to metric, registered as little as 2 g, and weighed up to 3 kilograms, though not much beyond that. We also liked that there were no obvious dirt traps in the design, and that tare function was responsive, although the backlight had a tendency to dim while we were trying to measure a specific weight. The only other drawback was that they don't measure liquids. Number 7. Suter Diselctronic Scale. Another simplistic pair from Suter. The Diselctronic scales are a brilliant budget-friendly offering, suitable even for regular bakers. They are easy to use, with well-labeled and responsive buttons, like the Suter set above. We felt the display screen was a little small, and again, they are not backlit, which hinders them further. But these scales are quick to register different weights and even offer a little added weight on top of the 5 kilograms maximum. Choose from grams, pounds, fluid ounces, and milliliters, and cycle through them easily using the buttons. The surface is simple to wipe clean, but be aware of the dirt traps around the buttons. Number 6. Suter Arc Electronic Scale. These cheap and cheerful kitchen scales from Suter boast a compact frame that will take up little space, even in the smallest of kitchens. They feel a little plastic-y, but this is to be expected given the price. The small theme continues on, as these scales can only weigh up to 3 kilograms. But this shouldn't be a problem if you're just looking for scales for light cooking tasks. This model also passed our small amounts test with flying colors, managing to register a single gram. These scales only measure in ounces and grams, but this comes as no surprise as they are just a simple set. We did feel that the display screen may be a little difficult to see for those who struggle with their eyesight. particularly as it's not backlit. Number 5. Suter Bambo rechargeable scales. These Bambo rechargeable kitchen scales from Suter boast impressive eco-credentials. Before we even got to using these scales, we were impressed by the fully recyclable packaging. These scales are made from 86% bamboo, and rather than needing batteries, these are rechargeable, needing only a USB LED, which is provided. We were glad to see the scales were fully charged on arrival, meaning we could use them straight away. These scales measure in grams, ounces, milliliters, and fluid ounces, and have a maximum capacity of 5 kilograms. The controls are touch-sensitive and sit on the right-hand side of the scales. Unfortunately, we found it easy to accidentally touch the wrong controls or even knock them unintentionally, which meant the scales got reset a few times during testing. Like the scales above, these only register 2 grams and no lower, so this is worth bearing in mind if you often bake with yeast or something similarly small scale. Number 4. Uni Dual Platform Digital Scales. From popular pizza and brand Uni comes the dual platform digital scales. It's no real surprise that Uni would create its own kitchen scales, particularly as these ones are geared towards making dough. Uniquely, this pair of scales has 2 weighing platforms, one for large amounts, e.g., flour and water, with a maximum capacity of 10 kilograms, and one smaller scale ideal for weighing yeast, up to 200 g. We liked the placement of the display screen, which makes use of the space beneath the small scales. It also meant we were able to see the screen, even when a large pan or bowl was placed on the larger scale. We did, however, have 2 minor gripes with these scales. We found them a little slow to register the weight, and the larger scale only began registering weight when 2 grams was placed on top. But these offer real versatility you're not going to find on any of the other models on this list. Number 3. Bodum B Barista Digital Scales. The increase of an interest in pour-over coffee and to the gram perfection means that no self-respecting wannabe barista is without a set of precision scales. So it's no surprise that Bodum's Bistro Barista digital scales are exacting, measuring tiny amounts as little as 1 gram in tests. Fortunately, they offer larger amounts too, up to 5 kilograms, although that was the maximum we could add and no more. The scales feel quite solid and premium, thanks to a removable silicone pad on the platform and silicone feet to keep them stable on the worktop, plus are easy to keep clean. There are a few downsides to be aware of though. First is that while they offer imperial measurements, you'll have to switch it to that using a button underneath the scales, and the buttons on top aren't terribly responsive. Number 2. WHPE Pizza Dual Kitchen Scales. Pizza making at home can become a pricey hobby if you buy all the kit. So it's no surprise that WHPE's dual scales for measuring out both small and larger amounts of ingredients are more of an investment than some. Our initial impressions were poor. The sample arrived with a plate of the smaller platform detached as only a sticky pad had held it in place, and while the platform plates are anti-fingerprint stainless steel, the rest is lightweight plastic. They had some way to go to impress us, but they did. The larger of the plates will weigh up to 10 kilograms, although no more, and registers at 3 g, while the smaller one goes up to 1 kilogram but will register at a mere 0.2 g. Number 1. OXO Good Grips Stainless Steel Scale. These sleek and attractive kitchen scales from OXO Good Grips look like a standard pair of scales, but they feature a unique pull-out display that's brilliant for when you're weighing something that is larger than the scales themselves. These scales weigh in grams and pounds only, with a maximum capacity of 5 kilograms/11 pounds. Though, when tested, these offer a little extra weight too. The screen is large and brightly lit. We like the useful battery-like symbol that shows how close to the maximum weight you are. The scales are responsive and quick to register the weight. They are also able to register a single gram weight, something that very few of the other models on this list were able to do. The one thing we felt these scales were missing was a liquid measurement setting, but otherwise, we couldn't fault this kit from OXO Good Grips.